Okay, so this deep dive, we've got quite a collection of sources this time.
Yeah?
And it looks like they're all connected to this ultra life philosophy.
Right.
And Vince Ultra is, I guess, the name behind it all.
That's right. Yeah, Vince Ultra seems to be at the center of this whole thing.
Yeah, so we're going to try to break it all down for you and give you a clear understanding of what this ultra life thing is all about.
Exactly.
So let's see what we've got here.
Oh, we've got a pretty diverse mix of materials, actually.
Yeah, it looks like we have like lo-fi music prompts and an idea for a reality show called Ultra Life 2600. Mm-hmm. Oh, and even some pieces of what looks like a movie script.
Yeah, and there's personal journal entries in here, too.
Oh, wow. And was this a game concept?
Looks like it, yeah. Ultra Life, reality hacker.
Reality hacker. Interesting, okay.
And then there's even a plan for becoming a billionaire.
Really?
Yeah, and some ideas about how a moneyless society might work with like source code and everything.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
There's more. Yeah, we've also got some interpretations of a dream message. The number 65 keeps coming up.
65, huh?
Yeah, and then there's this biocryptographic authentication idea. I'm not sure what that is exactly, but it sounds interesting.
Yeah, and a quantum crypto weaver project.
Right, and a concept called the 12 stages from human to God.
Human, spelled H-U-E.
H-U-E. Yeah.
Okay, and an invitation to join the quantum revolution.
Lots of quantum stuff going on here.
Oh, yeah, it seems like it.
Oh, and some notes thanking subscribers.
Okay.
And to top it all off, we even have Vince Ultra's own intro monologue and a theme song idea.
Wow, so this is like a whole multimedia experience.
It really is.
So where do we even begin with all this?
Well, I think our mission here is to try to find the common threads.
Okay, yeah, connect the dots between all these different pieces.
Exactly, and see if we can extract the core principles of the ultra life philosophy.
Right, and how it's supposed to play out in all these different areas.
Yeah, like how does a reality show about biohacking connect to a moneyless society?
Good question.
And how does quantum physics fit into all of this?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of quantum stuff in here.
Right off the bat, I'm noticing this recurring theme of combining cutting-edge technology with philosophical or spiritual ideas.
Yeah, like quantum computing and AI alongside consciousness and manifestation and this idea of interconnectedness.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to merge science and spirituality.
And there are some pretty ambitious goals in here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like this quantum crypto weaver project.
That one's fascinating, right?
Yeah, it's all about creating quantum-resistant cryptocurrency.
Which is important because quantum computing could potentially break the encryption we use today.
Yeah, so they're trying to future-proof digital currency.
Exactly. And then there's this biocryptographic authentication thing.
Yeah, what do you think that's all about?
Well, it sounds like a whole new way to secure our identities.
Interesting.
Maybe using biometrics and cryptography somehow.
Yeah, maybe.
And when you look at the bigger picture, it seems like ultra life is all about pushing boundaries in a bunch of different fields.
Yeah, like finance, for example.
Right, with the crypto project and the whole moneyless society concepts.
Yeah, like what would a moneyless society even look like?
It's hard to imagine, but they're definitely exploring alternative models of value exchange.
Right, and then there's this focus on personal growth.
Yeah, through biohacking and exploring consciousness.
Yeah, which comes up in the game idea and the reality show.
Oh yeah, speaking of that reality show, Ultra Life 2600 sounds pretty wild.
It does, right? Like following these G-Mansion boys.
Yeah, they're trying to manifest a quantum cafe.
A quantum cafe? What?
Yeah, and they're experimenting with biohacking.
So it's entertainment, but also educational.
Yeah, they're trying to make it fun and informative.
And inspirational too, right?
Yeah, they want to inspire people to live this ultra life.
Right, and that brings up another important theme: community.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to build a movement.
You see it with the reality show, the call to join the quantum revolution, even thanking subscribers.
It's all about bringing people together.
Yeah, creating a community around these ideas.
And even in the more out there concepts like the reality hacker game.
Yeah, with all the talk about cheat codes and the multiverse.
There's still this underlying message about making ethical choices.
Right, and developing yourself even within these expanded realities.
And the moneyless society source code, too.
Yeah, how would resources be allocated in a world without money?
They're thinking about things like reputation-based systems.
So they're considering the wider societal implications of these changes.
Definitely.
So if we had to sum it all up in like one sentence,
Okay.
it seems like Ultra Life is this ambitious vision that combines cutting-edge technology with philosophical ideas to create major advancements in areas like finance, personal growth, and even our understanding of reality.
Wow, yeah, you nailed it.
And it's all about building a community around these ideas and being mindful of the ethical implications.
Exactly.
So what's what's the takeaway for our listeners?
Well, I think the big question is, how can we apply this kind of thinking to our own lives?
Yeah, like how can we integrate technology, philosophy, and personal development to create positive change?
Right, and what aspects of the ultralife philosophy resonate with you personally?
Yeah, what speaks to you and why?
And how can you use those ideas to make a difference in your own work or your own community?
It's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, it's a lot to process. But hopefully this deep dive has given you some food for thought.
And maybe even some inspiration to explore these ideas further.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe you'll even join the quantum revolution.
Maybe we all will.
Thanks for diving in with us.
We'll see you next time. Okay, so today we're going deep on something pretty wild, honestly.
Definitely a big one.
A moneyless society.
Whoa.
Right. No more like dollars and cents.
No paychecks.
Exactly. No paychecks.
Wild.
It's a total reimagining of how like society even works. You know?
Yeah. Huge shift.
So we're going to dive into this based on, the stuff you sent over. Really try to understand, like, what daily life would look like, for you in this kind of world. Like, if this really happened.
Like, how would you get groceries?
Right. Like, how would anything work? And the sources you provided, they paint this picture of the future with, like, unlimited resources, clean energy.
Very optimistic future.
Right. And technology basically taking care of all the, like, the boring stuff.
Necessities.
Yes, exactly.
Food, water, shelter.
So let's get into it.
Okay,
the first thing that jumps out is like, no money.
Right.
How do things even get like allocated?
Yeah, that's the big question, right?
Right.
Because in our world now, everything revolves around
Money makes the world go round.
Exactly.
So how do we get the things we need? And what your sources talk about is this advanced AI system.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like a global resource manager that's constantly keeping track of everything.
So like it knows how much of everything there is.
Exactly. And it's predicting demand, like what people need and where.
That's crazy.
So for you, this would mean like using a device probably.
Like your phone or something.
Yeah, or some future version we can't even imagine yet. And you'd be able to like request what you need.
Like, hey, I need some food.
I need food, I need clothes.
I need a new pair of shoes.
And then the AI handles all the distribution.
Super efficiently, I imagine.
Exactly.
That's so interesting.
And it brings up some interesting points about how that kind of system would have to be.
Like super fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, everyone gets what they need.
Equitable distribution.
Exactly.
And also thinking about, waste.
Oh, yeah. Minimizing waste? Yeah, because if you're not using money...
You don't want to be just like, overproducing things that nobody needs.
And a lot of the sources talk about how this system would be better.
Yeah.
Because...
Than what we have now.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have the same kind of like built-in incentives to...
Overproduce.
Yeah, to create artificial scarcity and drive up demand.
Okay. So now let's say, we've figured out the whole like resource thing.
We got our food.
But what about work?
Right, because if there's no paycheck...
What's the motivation?
What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, and this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because the sources, they suggest this shift towards work that's driven by... Passion.
What you love to do.
So instead of, being like, I gotta go to work to make money, it's like...
I'm gonna go do this thing that I love.
Yes, and contribute.
Contribute to society in a way that's meaningful.
And then instead of money...
There's this idea of a reputation-based system.
Oh, so you're still rewarded.
You're still rewarded, but it's not with dollars.
It's like recognition.
It's recognition, it's respect, and it's also about like access.
To what?
To opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
Personal development resources. Maybe even like special perks or privileges based on your contributions.
So it's like a whole different kind of reward system.
Totally.
And what I think is so cool about that is...
It really changes the definition of what contribution means.
So it's not just like...
How much money you make.
Yeah. It's like how you're helping society.
It's broader. It's like creativity, community involvement, knowledge, creation, all these things that are valuable, but not always.
Quantifiable in terms of dollars.
Exactly.
And of course, none of this would be possible without...
Technology.
Right. Technology is like the backbone of all of this.
Yeah, the sources talk a lot about AI and robots.
Taking over those like essential jobs.
Manufacturing, agriculture, logistics, all the things that have to happen.
Shoot, that, maybe aren't the most...
Stimulating for humans.
And this isn't about like, everyone losing their jobs.
Right, it's about freeing up human potential.
Yeah, so you can focus on things that are more...
creative, fulfilling, maybe more community-focused.
But on that note, the sources, They also talk a lot about education in this future world.
Lifelong learning.
Yeah, like access to all the knowledge you could ever want,
Imagine a world where education is personalized.
tailored to your interests.
And it's not just for kids.
It's for everyone.
Ongoing throughout your life.
That's so cool.
And it's tied into this idea of community, too.
yeah, like strong community.
Where people are collaborating, supporting each other.
And even making decisions together.
Yeah, like decentralized governance, where you have a say.
And the AI
Is there to provide information data.
to help make informed choices.
So it's like AI is a tool.
Not a dictator.
Exactly.
But of course, it's not all like sunshine and roses.
Right. Every system has its challenges.
So the sources, they do bring up some like really important considerations.
The big one is the transition.
Yeah, how do we even get from
From a money-driven world,
to this?
that's a massive undertaking.
That's a massive undertaking.
And then there's the question of motivation.
Right, like what we talked about, how people would be driven by passion. But
Is that enough?
yeah, is that enough to keep society functioning?
That's a really interesting question.
And then, of course, the whole like managing global resources thing.
Making sure it's fair and efficient,
And making sure it's sustainable.
that's going to require some seriously sophisticated systems.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Much more advanced than what we have today.
And then finally, there's the whole question of like,
Individual freedom.
yeah, like how do you balance the needs of the collective with
Individual choice.
individual choice and freedom?
And, the sources don't really provide all the answers.
Yeah, these are really complex issues.
But they do raise the questions.
And that's important.
Really important.
So, I think it's safe to say that this is like a really radical concept.
It's definitely a paradigm shift.
Yeah, like a completely different way of thinking about society.
About human potential, about what's important.
Yeah, so it's like AI managing resources.
Contribution recognized through reputation.
Focus on well-being and personal growth.
It's really fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
So now I want to leave you with this question.
Okay.
Thinking about all this, what aspects of this future really stand out to you?
Mhm.
And based on what we talked about, what do you see as the biggest challenges?
In actually making this happen.
It's definitely a lot to think
A
about.
lot to consider.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely food for thought.
Yeah, big time.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's our deep dive for today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
It was a great conversation.
Always a pleasure.
Looking forward to the next one.
Me too.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.